Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Blue Jays Way. Chris here with Daniel.
Hello.
And yeah, we're here talking about the best pitching rotation in the entire MLB. Don't fact check me on that, but you can. I mean, it's the Jays. They're looking absolutely nasty right now. I gotta say, like they're the only reason we're 3 games above 500.
I mean, our pitching rotation, Chris, is one of the best, if not probably the best pitching rotation, because our
Yep.
best pitcher isn't even pitching well, and that's Kevin Gosman. If you would have told me
Yeah.
at the start of the year that Kevin Gosman was our worst pitcher, I would be
Worst
baffled.
out of the
But
five, at least. Like
yeah,
the
that's what I mean.
yeah.
Out of the five starters,
Yeah, it's
like
crazy. And he's his what is this? What's a good pitching stat here? Gosman, there he is. He's still got a 0 WAR. So it's not even like he's been bad. He hasn't lost us any games like Tim Mesa right now or Genesis Cabrera have, but they're just in the pen at the moment. But yeah, but Gosman, I mean, his FIP is still under 4, or his expected FIP's under 4. So like
oh, wow.
that's still pretty good for a worst pitcher on the team, even though he's supposed to be the ace.
Well, let's start with Gosman, I guess, because we're talking about him here. But
Yeah, yeah,
Gosman has been like he got hurt. He
right. He
obviously
had a
missed a
small
bunch
spring
of
training.
spring training. So the first two starts, which he was terrible in, were
Mm-hmm.
basically the end of his spring training. And then did he pitch against the Yankees? I don't remember who he
He
pitched
did.
against,
He did. Yes, he pitched against the Yankees.
and he pitched pretty well against them.
Yeah, it was the Rockies he
Was it the
pitched well. It
Yankees?
was the Rockies he pitched well against because he pitched
Rockies.
bad in Yankee Stadium because it was cold outside. I remember that.
That's okay. So
Yeah,
Rockies, he pitched well then.
yeah,
Yeah, he pitched really well against the Rockies, and he looked like the old Kevin Gosman.
hmm
And
and he's pitching
well,
tonight.
by the time they see this video, he's going
Yeah,
tonight against KC. So
right.
hopefully he does well and builds off that. But yeah,
hmm
Gosman's definitely been our worst starter, and he hasn't been terrible. If that makes sense.
No, he's not been horrible. Let me take a look at his stats here. I mean, he does his K percentage 23%, which is almost it's it's really up there with Kikuchi, and then Garcia's got a 40 K per nine or a 40% strikeout, which is insane. His walks is low, home runs are low. It's just he's getting hit. His BABIP is 386, which is batting average on balls in play. So you can say he's getting unlucky, but also the splitter hasn't been there for him as a strikeout pitch. So we got to
No,
get that
agreed.
better.
I think definitely once he establishes that splitter, he's going to go back to the Cy Young Gosman that we know of. And I think
Absolutely.
definitely the injury that made him miss spring training obviously led to him getting hit hard, which is probably why the expected batting average there is so high.
Oh, 100%. Let's leave it at that now for Gosman. We'll move on to Yariel because he's a big surprise so far in the rotation. I didn't think he'd be coming up this early to pitch in like the team, I guess you could say. He's been nasty. He's got a 2.35 ERA. He's already got a .1 WAR in how many innings has he pitched? 7.
Like two
So
starts. No.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
had two half a game starts. So he's been nasty. He's left 100% of the runners on base. I don't know. I guess he's given up home runs. Those are the only runs he's given up. So he's just been crazy, and I want to see how good he does throughout a full season.
So I think they're slowly building him up, right? Like he pitched 3 innings the first game, 4 innings the second game.
Yeah,
Probably his next game he's gonna go 5, I would expect. Um, but yeah, he has been very good surprise, Chris. And I love his energy too. I was listening to Gate 14 talk about him. Um, he gives you that like screw you kind of energy where he's gonna strike you
he's
out
a
and then
dog.
just kind of like fist
Yeah,
bump the glove and walk back to the bench and get the boys hyped with that. So
yeah, he's
that's
high.
something that we need from this Jays. I think it reminds me of a very very tamed but older a very tamed but old Marcus Stroman.
I was gonna say, he just seems like Stroman or like Manoa when he was like
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Let's talk about the three best guys who've been in this rotation: Bassett, Kikuchi, and then like Cy Young favorite at the moment. Knock on wood, Jose Barrios. We'll talk with Bassett first because we've seen him pitch in person twice this year at the Rogers Center. Bro, like we know he's a dog, but damn, Bassett's a dog, dude. He's such a
By the
dog.
way, when we went, me and Chris and some other friends, we went on the first Looney Dog night where Bassett was pitching.
Hell yeah.
And he struck a guy out and did our whole section not just start barking like a dog. That
We
was one
did.
of the most electric things I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, the whole section started barking like a dog. Our buddy Logan, couple beers in, he was roughing like crazy. Good shout out, Logan.
But yeah,
Yeah,
like
he's
Bassett
insane.
is definitely killing it this year, and he's been around the game for a while. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Bassett's I remember him, like he's even been before 2019, but I just remember in 2019
Oh
when he was
yeah.
on the Oakland Athletics.
I
Like
honestly I wanted him back then because he was a free agent. He went to the Mets, right?
and then he went to the Mets.
Yeah, I
Like
wanted
that
Bassett.
well, even going back then, Bassett's been consistent, like 3 to 4 ERA.
Yeah.
He's gonna give you like 180, 170, whatever innings. I'm just making those numbers up, but
Didn't
a
he
lot
do
of
two?
innings.
Who did 200 last year? Was that Bassett?
It might have been
I
Bassett,
think
but
I think it was
my
Bassett.
point was I was gonna say he's taken it to a whole nother level with the Jays. Being
Oh,
here,
he's been
his
unreal.
ERA's been down, his strike percentage has been down, his strikeouts been up, his walks have been down.
Yeah, and that's
He's
even
turning
with
into a very
PitchCom.
elite
Like
pitcher.
people were saying with PitchCom that would make Bassett kind of slow down, not be as good as he was. No, but he's using that as an advantage, man. Bassett has taken the PitchCom and made
Well, I
himself an
remember
elite pitcher.
the first game where he did use the pitch com, I think it was against St. Louis. He
Yeah,
got
he got
like
rocked.
lit. Like it
Yeah,
was bad.
like
It was
3 bombs or
Manoa level.
something. Yeah, it was like
Yeah,
three
like it
bombs.
was
Yeah,
rough. But he's figured it out. He's got like 9 pitches or something he throws, something insane like that.
yeah,
And
he's
as a batter,
crazy.
I don't know how you can predict what he's gonna throw at that point.
You don't. That's the thing. You don't. And this is why I think Bassett's the one who calls his own game, or at least he did for some
Yeah.
points, because it's hard as a catcher to do that. Let's talk about Yusai Young Kikuchi, because he's insane. Like and you saw yesterday, he threw like 40 pitches in like 5 innings. Guy was an absolute electric factory on the mound. I love Yusei. He's my fantasy team mascot. He's what a stud.
Oh yeah, Chris has one of the most elite fantasy names for sure. But I was about to say about Kikuchi. If you guys have been to the Jays games recently, and you sit in section 540, you will know that the usher there is absolutely electric.
Michael,
Every
shout
time
out
I'll
Michael.
throw up a video on screen of him, but
He's
every
so
time
sick.
they get a strikeout, the guy walks down and puts a sword in his pocket. With Kikuchi on the mound, he must be doing it like almost every other inning. Or sorry,
Oh, he's
twice every
gotta
inning.
be.
Like he is
He's gotta be.
striking out people at a ridiculous rate.
29%. That's the highest out of all the
Yeah,
starters besides Yariel, but he's had less innings. So he's been
that a
unreal.
29% strikeout rate is ridiculous. Like I don't think that
Insane.
people understand
Insane.
how high that is.
Like we're like praising Jimmy Garcia. He's 30.9, and this is the best I've ever seen Garcia pitch in his life. He's high. He's striking out the same rate as Nate Pearson right now, who's a high velo relief pitcher who's in the
And
form of
also
his life
take
right
into
now.
account that those guys are doing 1 inning, right? Or
Exactly. So
two,
they strike out
maybe
two
2 innings.
guys.
So their strikeout percentage is going to be higher with less strikeouts, right?
Right.
Kikuchi's going 5 consistent 5,
At
sometimes
least
6.
1K an inning, pretty much. Like
Yeah, he's
Gucci's
basically
he's
doing a
insane.
K an inning, and
Yeah.
he's looked very competitive, and he's been efficient. I heard them talk about it yesterday on the broadcast, where he's been. I think it was like through the 4th inning, he had 40 pitches through or something like that.
Yeah,
Like
this year
that
you
was not
say
consistent 2 years ago.
his K per nine, if I can find it, strikeout per nine is 10.7. He's
Yeah,
crazy.
like
He's crazy. I love him. I love Yusei. But Daniel, there's someone even better than Yusei right now, and that's Jose Barrios.
Chris, is this finally the year that we get Cy Young Barrios?
I mean, 2 years ago, this is pre 2022, we predicted Barrios would win the Cy Young, and he was the worst pitcher on the face of the earth. This year, we didn't do that, and he might win the Cy Young. So far, knock
I'm
on
just
wood.
saying, the last 2 years we predicted him as a dark horse for the Cy Young, and yeah, he was not the best. But this year, he's figured something out. He looks
Oh
like
my goodness.
Barrios that the Jays traded for.
He's got a 4.47 ERA plus. 100 is league average.
Holy cow!
I just
Like
saw that stat. That's crazy.
he's taken it
447.
to he's
Holy
taken it to
cow.
another level this year, and like he is. I remember 2 years ago we are talking when we first started this podcast. We're talking on the mound every time Barrios went up. We're like, oh my god, this is scary. Like the
Yeah.
offense needs to score 10 runs for us to win. Like with Barrios on the mound, I feel comfortable with 1 or 2 runs,
Yeah, absolutely.
and I know I'm gonna get 7 quality innings from him.
Yeah. So just going back to the ERA plus stat, I was just looking at Kikuchi's because he's been really good as well this year. We know that.
Yeah.
Kikuchi's ERA plus this year is 168. And he's been good. Barrios is 447. 447. That's
Who's
unreal.
been like a very dominant pitcher in the league like this year?
Barrios not even first in the league. Who has been
Who's like
who's better than Barrios?
who's better than that?
Let me check Fangraphs to see who's the best.
4K. Like that's what I mean. Like when we traded for this guy, we gave up 2 really good prospects at the time in Simi Woods Richardson and Austin Martin. And
Yeah.
both of them are they're MLB players, but they're not what they were projected to be. Barrios is insane, and we have him locked up for what, like 5 more years or something like that.
Right. So Cutter Crawford has been the best pitcher so
Oh
far.
yeah, Cutter Crawford's been gross.
Has he? Craw.
Yeah, he has. He's underrated gross, but he's been
So
gross.
his ERA plus is 6.32. Holy
Yeah.
crap!
So like,
He's leading the league. He's leading the league right now in ERA plus.
what's Brios ranked then? Like sixth?
I don't know. How do I check this on?
So that might be something else to figure out later
Yeah,
on. But yeah,
that's
overall,
unreal.
I
Jesus.
mean, before we were having the conversation of like, who's a Cy Young? Is it Manoa or is it like Gosman? And
Yeah,
now it's or who's the ace? Sorry. And now it's 100% right now at this time, Barrios.
absolutely, absolutely. According to Fangraphs, Brios is 17th overall as a pitcher. I don't know what this is taking into account here, but he's been really good. I'm trying to find the ranking for ERA plus right now on this, but I can't find it. I don't know.
That's okay. You know
Yeah,
what? Let's wrap it up here, Chris, because I think we rambled on a little bit about the Jays and talking how
yeah.
good the rotation is. But Jays fans, it's up to you now. Let's get Barrios into the All Star game when it comes out. I'm already starting the campaign. Barrios to the 2024 All Star. It's gonna happen. With that being said,
I
guys,
hope.
hit the like button, hit the subscribe button down below, share the video with someone who you think might like it, and
Mhm.
Chris, we'll see them
Yes.
all later.
Bye.